But it's funny because the Fox News article says that he died a lonely death. And we know he wasn't alone. His letters reveal that he wasn't alone. Ultimately, what happened was he went for 17 hours in the car without stopping. And we know it was because of medical reasons. And went over an 80-foot cliff in Utah. And it was a part of I-70 that's extremely desolate. And there's about 20 or 30 yards of dirt, that fine, horrible desert dirt. Not sand, but not dirt. And there wasn't a guardrail because that's where they push the snow off in the winter. And so the interstate curves off to the left and nobody takes it. It's very desolate. And that's where the accident happened. And he went down an 80-foot cliff and rolled several hundred feet in a ravine and rolled back down the ravine and ended up upside down between two boulders, with the front of the car in his chest and his legs. And it just so happened that my grading bag for the school, was in the car with him. And so he was able to write us all love letters as he was dying. He knew he was dying. He knew he'd never see us again. So he wrote each of his sons a love letter, why he loved them so much, the different reasons why he loved each son. He wrote his grandchildren a letter. He wrote me a letter. And that's what I cling to, you know. He said in the beginning, the handwriting is just horribly, you could tell he was in pain. He had a broken femur. And oh my goodness, he was in so much pain. And then he said, I prayed for an angel, and instantly the handwriting changes to his normal, perfect handwriting, like nothing's wrong. And I always used to say, honey, I can do anything as long as you're holding my hand. Because his big hand's holding my hand. You know, it was always just a perfect fit. And so I always said, honey, as long as you're holding my hand. And he always used to promise me that night that they called him from Kansas City, or to Kansas City. And I said, don't leave me. And he said, honey, I promise my hand will always be the last hand that you hold on earth. I promise you that. I said, okay, I can do it then. And so in his letter, his very last words to me were, sweetie, I love you with my whole heart, and I don't want to leave, but I have to. And he said, don't be afraid. Jesus is sitting right next to me. And he said, my hand won't be the last hand you hold on earth, but it'll be the first hand you hold in heaven. And he said, when you're ready to go, just reach out and I'll take your hand and I'll help you cross the Jordan. And those are the last words he wrote to me. I just kind of want you to picture this man that's upside down, trapped with the car in his chest, totally unable to move. And he's been writing his goodbyes in his love letters. And the article online said that Kansas man dies slow, lonely death in Utah. And then we get this back after he died. And we can go through the pages and see what songs he was singing because his blood is on the pages. And I don't know if you can see this, but you can tell how much pain he was in because he tried to circle the title of the hymn and he tried to put 2 exclamation marks after. And the title of the hymn is Jesus Loves Me. And then he put the 2 exclamation marks afterwards. And that's his blood. And that's his blood. And that's his blood. And so I think as he was singing, he was doing each word. And then he was just bleeding, on each word as he was singing. But it brought me extraordinary comfort, knowing that even though he knew he was dying, the kids said, our boy said that Dad always taught us how to live a Christian life and a life of integrity. And he showed us how to die a Christian death and a death with integrity. Because it wasn't a man that was cursing God while he was dying. It was a man that was, his letters expressed nothing but thankfulness and how much he loved us and loved God. And there now we have the hymn that shows that he was still singing to a God that he loved very much. So if you juxtapose, you would have to see a picture of what he was living while he was doing this. And I think that's what makes it even more meaningful. But this is something I'll cherish forever. That this is what he was doing as he was dying. And we all know people who complain if they can't find a parking spot, or who blame God for any number of things, and yet he still found a way. This shows me how much pain he was in, that he couldn't even circle it. And then, there's several pages, if you flip through, where you can see that he turned to his favorite hymns and was singing because his blood's on the pages. But I'm so thankful for just this little piece that I have left of him. And I'll always cherish it. So all I can do is go on and continue to love and continue to serve and continue to do the things that we had hoped to do together. I'll just be by myself, I know I'll see Dave again. My faith assures me of that. He assured me of that in the letters that he wrote to me.